Hi, Kathleen.
There I are. Hi, Andy. Good, thanks. How are you?
I am wonderful,
Nice.
thank you.
Nice to meet you in person over the Zoom.
Right?
Yes.
Absolutely. Let's see here.
Thanks for the nice promo on your webpage.
Oh, it's our pleasure. Hi, Mike. How are you? You're still muted. Yeah,
That should be better.
that should be. How are you?
Great.
Good. Whoops, got to turn that off.
I just wrote a check for all the backpacks for San Pasquale Academy.
Nice. That's awesome. Kathleen, meet Mike. Mike, meet Kathleen.
Hi, Kathleen.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Thank you.
What are you going to teach us about today?
We're going to teach you how to set up your home office and how to get the most out of your online on video conference calls and some tips and tricks on remote working.
Where were you 10 years ago before I retired?
Ah,
Well, since we're all thrown into this blender of having to work remotely, some of the things are still appropriate.
I had a long conversation with my financial advisor this morning about whether or not office space is going to be a good investment.
Oh, what did he say?
He thinks it's going to come back by and large, but I think a lot of companies are going to allow their people to work from home permanently. So I do think it's going to dilute investments in real estate a little bit.
Commercials, there's going to be a glut, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's major corporations that are telling their employees they don't have to come back, like Siemens, for example, Google, they don't have to come back for at least another year. So who knows?
So some of the people like in San Francisco, a lot of these tech employees, maybe leaving town, moving out in the suburbs and working from home.
Yeah, we're seeing that very much so. You can almost live, wherever you feel your heart is and work from there.
Hi, Ossie. How are you?
What did you retire from?
Yeah, it's all set up.
CFO of Insurance Company of the West in San Diego for 29 years.
Oh, beautiful.
It's the same one as last time. All right. So your information is the meeting ID. Do you have a pen and paper? Sorry, I got to mute myself, guys.
Okay.
Sorry about that. Keith, how are you? Yeah. Oh, I don't have my camera on, so you don't have to see me eat. I'm Paul.
Hey, how are you, Andrew?
Oh, I'm awake. I'm alive. Cannot complain.
Good.
Did you get a haircut?
I got several.
Almost all of them.
Almost all of them. It was my last scheduled haircut was July 17th. And obviously everything shut down on the 15th, so I missed that one. So went to a friend who was a hairstylist, and we sat outside and got my haircut because it was just way out of control.
Hi, Mac.
What's that?
Hi, Mike, how are you doing?
Hi to Mac. Real good, thanks. And you?
Living the dream as always.
I see Deb, but I don't see Deb. I'm gonna turn off my video so I can finish my snack.
Mike just vanished.
What's that?
Mike just vanished.
Right? He does
Living out
that.
in the woods.
He's the shadow. No, he's the wind. Oh, there's Deb. You're muted, but that's all good.
That's exactly, yes, it's a good way. Hi, everybody. How are you?
Deborah.
Nice to meet you virtually.
Yay. So Deb, you're looking at, let's see, Mayor Paul McNamara, Keith Rickenbacker, who is one of our past presidents and an amazing, amazing person. Mike is not here apparently. He's disappeared. And
Kidnapped by Bigfoot or something.
there's Mike.
I
Yeah.
went to get my yellow pad so I could write down all the important things I hear today.
Well, good.
It's going to be empty at the end of the meeting.
Well, because you've absorbed it all so well.
Right.
Nice doodle.
That's why we call him SpongeBob.
Andy, having a bad hair day?
I'm eating a little snack before the meeting. I thought no
I
one
see,
wanted
Andrew.
to see that.
Yeah.
Well, and while I was doing that, I ignored the 3 people who came in.
No, I saw the other meme,
The what?
the
Oh.
other icon you had.
Yeah, the seal.
Yes.
Aussie, welcome. Deborah,
Finally.
Christine.
How are you?
If I was any better, it'd be Tuesday.
Hi, Keith. How are you?
Fabulous, Ozzy. How are you?
Good. So far?
We missed you last Thursday, Aussie.
I was wondering. I didn't receive any email telling me about the Zoom.
You got to check your emails better.
I didn't get it.
Jade Owen.
Hey, everyone.
Oh, yeah. She's out on the street today. Lots of background noise.
New glasses, Jade?
How are you?
Blue light glasses because I don't have a computer too much, so I'm hoping to preserve my eyes.
Your microphone is interesting today, Jade. Oh, it just dropped out too. There it is.
Ready? Hello?
Hello. Lots of background noise.
What is that noise?
Phone's going to explode.
She's hungry and her stomach's growling.
Right?
Hey, Jay, how are you?
Actually, I think it was the sound of money being printed. That was what that was.
I'm pretty sure.
That was a rather rich tone.
Deborah, Christine, did I say hi?
Somebody left.
I think it was Jade. She was trying to get her microphone fixed.
Is Deb on there?
Yep, Deb's right above you.
Oh, but I
I'm
don't.
here.
Oh, interesting. I don't see the icon anymore.
Go to gallery view.
There you go. Okay. Thanks.
That's one of your tips.
I thought I was on.
Okay,
Welcome back, Jade.
can you guys hear me better?
Much better.
Okay, I had to change, we got new webcams and I had to change the microphone source, so.
Oh,
Yeah.
Jade, this is Christine. Are you doing In the Wild today?
I am, yeah. Thank you for sending them to me. Thank you.
Oh, no, I'm happy to work together with you. Andrew had me on the agenda, so I just wanted to double check.
Oh, you're welcome to if you would like.
No, I've got all of September. Don't worry.
hello, Paulette. Hello, Roy.
Morning.
Here comes Marilyn.
Yeah, hey Andrew, how you doing?
Good. How are you? Is that a beer, Roy?
No, it's not 5 o'clock here yet.
Never known that to stop me.
Maybe Deb will speak to that as one of the, rules of working from home.
It's a definite tip and a
Not
trick.
drinking before.
Jay Grossman.
Andrew, you're looking sharp. You got a haircut since last week.
Yeah, I did.
Woo.
Needed it bad.
Nah, you looked good.
I looked like it was the 80s all over again, man. Let's see. All right.
I see Danny joined us. Welcome, Danny.
Hi.
It's Danny coming in. Hey, Danny. And then here comes Ken Myers. And Jay, well, we don't talk to Jay.
I'm here. Hold on, let me mute the TV.
Hey, Jay Grossman.
That's me. What am I, the whipping boy?
Only till Irv gets here.
Okay.
Danny, how's married life?
Good.
Good.
Yeah, doing well.
Did you get a honeymoon, or are you just planning for after the quarantine?
Gonna be after the quarantine.
Yeah.
The next year.
Probably.
I know I'm itching to book a vacation somewhere I can get on a plane. So the sooner the better.
Right. We'll chip in.
Oh, perfect. This is recording. So you just committed.
I was just Andrew talking.
I think you could probably get to San Diego on what I can contribute.
Just a couple bucks of gas.
Yep.
The flights are very cheap now. You can fly round trip to Hawaii for $197.
I know.
Right.
My best friend lives on Oahu, and I'm dying to take my girls. So as soon as this thing lifts.
Well, you have to stay for 2 weeks right now.
Right. Yeah.
Hi, Ron Parker. Hi, Amy Wondolowski. Vate, we can see you eating. Hi, Bernadette. Mr. Sunquist, how are you?
I'm doing well, thank you. Good to see you.
Good to be seen. You're looking fine today. Oh my. Ron Smith and Ken Manell joining us. Don't tell Ron. We moved the meeting. Amy, is it hot out there in the desert?
Very, very.
It's been pretty damn hot here, honestly. It's the humidity. Let's see, 11:58. Just waiting for Mr. Joe Garcia. I should have music on in the background, shouldn't I? Get a little.
Do the Hendrix national anthem again.
Yeah, we could do Hendrix national anthem.
Banner.
The Star Mangled Banner.
I liked it. That was my era.
I did too. You apologized, but I thought it was really, yeah.
I thought it was good too. I loved it. I just, I'm sure there were, well, I know there were one or two who kind of had a mini
flashback.
Yes.
It was a bad trip for them.
Right. The brown acid is no good. All right, here comes iPad 4 and iPhone. Oh, did I not let iPhone in?
Looks like Mike Freet's in the forest.
Yes.
Nice.
Actually, that's the big banyan tree in Lahaina.
Oh, okay.
I say it's definitely not the Northern California forest.
Hmm.
Haven't seen Lisa Peterson in a while. Yay.
Yay. Hi, Lisa.
And Joe Garcia's here. How are the rhinos doing, Lisa?
They're good. We just had the third and last one for the season. Last baby.
Wow.
Oh,
Yeah. I will, I am gonna have to eat, so I will turn off my camera when I eat so that people don't have to watch me eat.
That's all good. We understand. All right, let me let Bill Smith in and then we'll call it noon and start the meeting. Oh, here we go. Hang on a second. Royce Moore coming all the way from NAU. All righty. So here we go. It is noon, the 25th. It's easy for me to say, August. And we will start the meeting as we go poing with the thing. And all right. Joe
That was
Garcia,
definitely a boing with a thing.
would you give us our invocation, please?
Absolutely. Thank you. If you're still inclined, please bow your heads. Dear Father God, this week is a week full of challenges. Many of us are sending our kids, our children, both young and old or young adults, to school. And many have concerns if it's the right thing to send them to school or keep them at home. Some are concerned that the lack of social contact will be a problem as our children grow up. For others, should they send them and run the risk of these children, our children, getting sick? Well, Lord, what we ask is that you protect our children, that you protect our teachers that are at the front lines and working so hard to try to make everything run smoothly and protect and take care of our kids and teach them. Protect the administrators and those that have to make the decisions, that they make the best decisions possible, because we know that that's what they're doing, and that we can support them and feel ease because we know that you are helping us in this time of transition as we continue here. Bless our meeting, bless all of us as we continue today in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you, Joe. I always do this wrong. Royce Moore, you there? Royce is not there.
They're talking to you.
All right, Christine, would you do our pledge for us, please?
sure. I'd be happy to. Place your hand over your heart. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Excellent. Thank you, Christine. And now for our patriotic song, Columbia Gem of the Ocean.
See you next week.
See you next week. Yes. So welcome to our Zoom meeting for this last meeting of August. We have two guests right now. We have Kathleen McCabe and Deb Roth, who are our speakers and program today. Rick and Susan. I don't see Kathleen, our friends from Valley Center, but they may join us later. And so, is there any other guests here that I'm missing? Hearing none, let's welcome our guests with Aussie.
Howdy, we're glad to have you here.
Welcome.
We sing a lot of enjoy the program. And when you come back, see us again.
Woohoo!
Oh, nice.
It is so much better than when we all sing together. All righty. Looking at our upcoming calendar, next week we have Rakesh Patel joining us to talk about the neighborhood health system. On the second, Haven House, contact Kelly if you're interested in serving. Actually, they may be filled up, but give them a call anyhow. On the 8th is our board meeting. Everyone's encouraged to join us for that. On the 8th also, we have Tara Remmer Lawson. On the 15th, Tammy Wong will be talking to us about wines and natural wines. 16th is Haven House again. On the 22nd, we have Kristen Gaspar. And on the 29th, we get to hear about American rugby. And for those of you who are confused, rugby is not the thing that goes on the floor above the wood. It's actually a form of sport. So, all right. Any member moments today? No, hearing none. I actually have one. One of our most industrious members has been honored by being voted onto the board of our own Salvation Army. So congratulations, Mike Freet, for now finally making it into the Army. Are you started as a private, or are you just window washer?
I'm not even up to window washing.
Good.
Well, he might be the target of salvation. We don't know.
There we go. All right, Jay.
I should point out that Ron Smith and Dollar Bill preceded me in that capacity.
Yes, they are absolutely important people to us, but no one's quite as important as you, Mike.
In my own mind.
All right, so we want to wish a big happy anniversary to Lila. 30 years of marriage. I absolutely commend you. I'm 4 years in and not quite sure how I'm even going to last. So congratulations. And Rosa, yet again, my goodness, tempting me with food. Looks like Rosa had a lovely day out in La Jolla and enjoyed some Peruvian food. So what do you say, Rosa? Was it good? I mean, I'm sure it's not as good as Rosa's kitchen, but.
Actually, it was very good. I will highly recommend anybody that wants to adventure to taste some Peruvian cuisine. It's not the gourmet, and it's not also it's kind of like kind of home cooked meals, like really everything that we had, and all my Peruvian friends that have gone there, they really like it.
Oh.
I encourage any of you to adventure and go and then go walk for a sunset in La Jolla, and it's just beautiful. A wonderful afternoon.
Oh, wonderful. I'm definitely going there. That's right by my parents' house, so now I have an excuse.
Oh, and look at this.
Yeah. I mean, this picture speaks volumes, right?
Hey,
Supporting
who is that masked man?
Dollar Bill, supporting Mike, the Salvation Army. I mean, health. It's just, there's a lot to be said about this picture.
And Bill has a real thing for masks, apparently. He brought this by the house today. And I was gonna wear it, but it's a little stuffy in here. But
I have one too.
Oh,
yeah.
we should get our Rotary mask.
So if you want a Rotary mask, contact Bill Smith. And all you have to do is make a donation to either him or the foundation. He's generously offered to handle selling these masks for us.
Oh, my God, that's Ron Smith?
No, Bill Smith, the guy in the picture. See the funny guy with the wavy hair?
I don't recognize him, no.
Drew Carey?
Yes, Drew Carey on his way to rob a bank.
They all look alike.
Andy, hold it up again. Hold up the mask again.
Oh.
I didn't have my little side view of all you guys. There we go.
Don't do it that fast. Hold it a little longer.
Nice.
I can't see.
Oh yeah, Jen. Go ahead, Jen.
We need those.
Mine's a little different. Actually, it was a gift from someone who's in the RV club, and they are also selling them. So there's
I don't know.
of Rotary masks. Had I known that Bill Smith was selling them, I would have come to you.
It was brand new. He asked me about it last week, and I failed to tell everybody because I didn't think fast enough.
Well, this was a gift anyway, but I'm very proud.
So let's move on to our service spotlight. And today I wanted to have Ron Smith talk to us a little bit about what motivates him to do all of the amazing things he does. Ron.
Where did you get that picture?
Oh, I never share my sources.
Yeah, well, probably just as well too. Anyway, I have a vague idea. Anyway, Andy, I was a little bit perplexed when you first asked me to do this, honestly, because I don't know why I do some of the things that I do. But I want to thank you because you made me think about it for the last couple of days. I didn't want to embarrass myself too bad in front of the whole club by coming up with a duh kind of answer. And actually, this is kind of like Rotary Justice, because years ago when I got my blue badge, I kind of skinnied through the back door, never did a who am I, and now I'm being held accountable. So time to get it done.
I'd heard that.
True confessions, yes. But anyway, I mean, when I really thought about it in depth, it just has to do with the good fortune I've had for the people that I've been around ever since I was born and the places that I was exposed to by important people in my life. And of course, it goes back to mom and dad, mom's kindness and compassion and her quiet, resolute strength. My dad's no nonsense colonel in the Army demeanor and what he expected of me and my two brothers in terms of performance and standards and responsibility and leadership. And together, from both of them, the importance of loyalty, devotion to family, and love of country. So I mentioned the places that I've been exposed to, which also somewhat defines the people, and it has to do with neighborhood, of course. My early entry into Cub and then Boy Scouts, and Royce, you're gonna love that fact anyway. We haven't got a lot of Eagle Scouts in our club, and I never quite reached that level, but I do understand about the Scout law and the oath and how it requires you to live a life of virtue. The athletic teams that I participated in that kept me busy and out of trouble and taught me about the importance of daily performance to the best of your ability and how to help others do the same. My love of camping in the outdoors, the schools that I went to, including San Diego State. That picture that you saw at when Andy introduced me was a fraternity event with Renato Villacorte, who's an official in the fraternity, great guy. That taught me a couple of things. Our fraternity motto is virtue, diligence, and brotherly love. Never mind that cocktail that was in mine. That was a gin and tonic. And that we believe that life has meaning and purpose. And so that was kind of a college foundation of things. But through all of that, it was a matter of the importance of honoring and aspiring to be a leader, taking responsibility, the consequences of your own actions, and trying to do the best you can. I ended up being a public educator, and it was a job over time that I valued because it fed directly to my soul. And when I talk to other people about doing things, you know, sure, ambition is important, your career is important, you know, the accomplishments that you make in a professional field are important, but if they don't feed your soul, then you have a problem and you have a hole to fill. And I was fortunate that I had a career that helped feed my soul. I also had a family and wonderful daughters. My wife, Molly's been such a big influence in my life. A large part of who I am and why I do what I do is to honor her and the relationship we have. 49 years coming up on September 4th.
Wow.
Landed in Escondido for, you know, to raise my family and have my career. The Escondido Union School District was really good to me and helped me become a lot of things and do a lot of things that I really appreciate. And all of that led me to the Escondido Rotary Club. And I joined in 1991. I've been a member ever since. And the involvement that I've been able to enjoy started out really slow. I mean, when you're a young Rotarian, you got a career that's just building. You probably have a young family. You have all your energy and time devoted to those two things. And you sit around and go, God, I feel guilty. I'm a Rotarian, but I don't do much because you can't. You don't have the time. But later, when it evolves, you have a chance to make it up. I'm so inspired by the fellow members of the Rotary Club in Escondido and Rotary around the world. And that now is what drives me to want to do more. But I want to caution everybody, especially the younger members of the club, it's an open-ended project. No matter how much you do, no matter how much you volunteer, you will always feel like you could have done more. Don't let that plague you. Don't let it torture you. Just know that if you do anything, you're doing enough at the moment. And if you go back to a John Wesley quote that I will not read, but you can look up later, it has a lot to do with doing what you can, when you can, how you can, that kind of thing. Rough paraphrase, but it's the right message. So why do I do what I do for the community and Rotary? Right now, it's because of all of you and how you inspire me all the time and motivate me to stay involved and to keep working along with you so that we can chip away at the world and daily make it a better place. Thank you.
Thank you, Ron.
Very nice.
And Ron is very modest because he actually does so many things for our club. And I can tell you there's a lot of, I mean, there are several people who have influenced me and helped me prepare to be president. If it were not for Ron, I wouldn't have been able to do this. And I mean,
probably
Jan
not
was
true,
a
but
great
thank you
mentor,
anyway.
and Keith has helped, and everybody has helped. Everyone has stepped up, but if it were not for Ron, it would not be nearly as smooth. You do Haven House, you do CORE, you're our executive secretary, you're at San Pasquale, you're involved in almost every single service project we have.
Did you see my new T-shirt?
John Paul Catholic. Yeah.
For Rotaract kids. And I'll talk about them in a little bit.
What? Yeah.
So I'll talk about that in a little bit.
Okay, perfect.
Well, I ditto what you said, Andy. I don't think I could have been president last year if it weren't for Ron. I mean,
absolutely.
The load that he carries is amazing. And I want to say thank you. There aren't enough words
It's my pleasure. Honestly, I'm still trying to
Club.
live up to Marilyn Lynch's expectations.
I want to add
That's
my
that
2
one.
bits. I want to add my 2 bits in
Done that
support.
and more, Ron.
Go ahead, Vaughn.
Are
Vaughn,
you
go
there,
ahead.
Marilyn?
We did.
You've done that and more.
We did a lot of fun things in the core committee last year, and I had the most incredible team all the way through. But I have to say that Ron Smith, you know, when something needed to be done, I always felt guilty because he would volunteer to do it, and then I would give him a little bit more. And it was just an ongoing
Open-ended, Vaughn. It's open-ended.
It is. But here's a man who lives his true values, and I learned that in a full year of side-by-side working with him, and what he did, stepped up to do in Rotary, and the Corps, the banners and everything, just goes on. Anyway, thanks, Ron.
Thank you, Vaughn.
And this brings
Ron,
up
don't get
normally
that go to your head.
Yeah, right. Don't let it go to your head, Ossie says.
Too late.
And so for our August Rotarian of the Month, I really was committed to picking out some different Rotarians every month that don't always get honored with this. But as you've just heard, there's no way you cannot honor Ron Smith for being Rotarian of the Month almost every single month.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Andy.
So I'll give you your pin on Thursday at your next event that you're serving at with Keith and everybody else.
Yeah, yeah. Keith is going to go over that event
Yes.
in just a little bit.
Exactly. In fact, right now.
Right now, oh, am I muted? Nope, I'm good. No, good. Thank you, President Andrew. And I agree with everything everybody said about you, Ron. Wouldn't be doing what we're doing without all your efforts. So thank you. No. I want to talk about San Pasquale Academy. This is last call for Shop Till You Drop. Do you have the list of items there again, Andrew? No?
It's coming. There it is.
There you go. Well done. No? So here's the list again. You should have received an email from me last Tuesday evening, I think, after last week's meeting. This is last call. We're having a Rotary reunion this Thursday afternoon. It's not last Thursday. A lot of people thought they missed it. It's this coming Thursday, 2 days from now. We'll be at the Center for the Arts between 2 and 4 p.m. in the parking lot by, I think it's Maple and Valley Parkway, right between City Hall and the Convention Center. So we'll be set up at the Rotary speaker parking space, and you can drive through, drop off any donations that you have. If you want to make a cash donation, you can make out a check to the Escondido Rotary Foundation. And professional shoppers will be standing by to go out probably on Friday or Monday with whatever else is needed. You know? Also at that time, very exciting, you can pick up your roster. So come by and pick up your new roster. They're ready. Pick yours up, visit with some Rotarians. Like I said, it's a Rotary reunion. We haven't seen each other in a long time. So come by. Social distancing will be observed. So if you're picking up your roster, roll down your window and we'll Frisbee it into the car at you. But come by, see us, drop off whatever you have, say hello. And I think Ron wanted to add something about Salvation Army as well. Ron?
Well, you know, we're still encouraging everybody to help out up there with their diaper drive. You see on the right of your screen the flyer that the artistic geniuses up there put together, looking for sizes 4 to 7. But I mean, if you ended up with a 3, you'd probably be all right. And baby wipes. And yeah, I think I mentioned before that if you need help getting delivered, you know, we can, you know, in the Keith's theme of professional shoppers, we can help make that happen. Or you can just order off of Amazon and have them delivered directly to Salvation Army, which is a pretty slick way to do it. Anyway, they are always in need, and anything you can do to help out is greatly appreciated. And I do want to thank you, Christine, because within about 3 minutes of the last time we did this announcement, you were already out shopping and got it delivered within an hour. And that's how you take care of business. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Ron, can the drop-off be at the Center for the Arts as well?
Yep.
Yes.
Thank you.
Same place. Thank you, President Andrew.
All right. Let's see. Well, come on. Open. There we go. It's now time for our fun song. Deb didn't know she was going to get sung to, but that's okay. Miss Christine, shall I mute everybody except you?
Yes, of course.
All right, let me mute everyone here.
And the word's up.
Words up.
Deborah, if you were meeting with us in person at the California Center for the Arts, we have a pretty darn good orchestra. And then all of our members really are quite good singers. So, you know, we had to adjust with the pandemic. So it'll just be a single voice a cappella to the tune of Home on the Range. 2020's been tough. Stay at home orders rough. But solutions indeed can be found as we all learn new ways, getting things done these days, wearing PJs and sweats all around. 2020, oh, home on the screen, our meetings and work on the scene. What others may see reflects the real you and me. So please click join meeting after you clean. Deborah's here today to help show us the way to have meetings from home that inspired. Rotary meetings by Zoom, faces light up the room. Some are working and some are retired. Home on the range. Our meetings these days can be strange. There are things we can do. When shift happens, we come through. Navigating this work from home change.
Yay.
All right.
Bravo.
So I get to introduce Deb. And for those of you who don't know, I actually share a child with Deb. It's the Dan, not the not Dan. So I do have some knowledge of her background, but I'm going to stick to what's on the bio. So Deb is a creative, solution-focused leader, CEO, and co-founder of Work Shift Happens. And she brings calm to the ongoing storm of navigating how to work from home, manage staff and business needs amidst the current stay-at-home mandates associated with COVID-19 and beyond. She has more than 20 years experience introducing and delivering innovative, leading-edge enterprise technology solutions worldwide to her customers, team, and organization. She's highly sought for her talents in leading and mentoring high-performing, collaborative, cross-functional remote teams, and also speaking in business speak. And she's accomplished over the past 7 years working entirely remotely from her San Diego area home. She's here to share some insights and guidance on how to keep business energy moving in the right direction. She's an expert in developing and delivering effective instructor-led. See, I can't read from scripts. I'm better without a script. Instructor-led corporate training curriculum for government and commercial customers, and is spearheading an innovative ongoing series of how-to video trainings, support services centered around remote work model. Deb is currently an adjunct professor at San Diego Continuing Education, part of the San Diego Community College District, and also serves as work-based learning coordinator for them. So welcome, Deb. What do you want to tell us? Let me stop sharing so you can start sharing.
Well, first of all, it's a pleasure to meet all of you and see faces on the screen. For those of you who can, for those of you who are eating lunch, I totally get it. And thank you very much for the introduction. You should be able to see my screen. I am going to go to presentation mode. Can everybody hear me okay?
Yes.
First of all. Okay, so one of my lovely challenges is what to do with the title bar. So, okay, so first of all, Andy, thank you very much for the introduction, and Christine for the amazing song. Very much appreciate it. And I want to thank all of you for everything you do for the community, for all of that you give. And Kathleen and I couldn't be more honored to be able to have the opportunity to be here today. Kathleen McCabe, you can wave. She is our Chief Marketing Officer and co-founder with me. I definitely have a soft spot in my heart for Escondido. My mom, Sylvia, lived here or there. I'm not there, I'm here, but she lived in Escondido for many years. So until she passed in 2013. But anyway, the other thing, maybe you're wondering, how did we come up with work shift happens? Well, we meant it. Some people have asked, are you sure? Do you know what it really sounds like? Yes, we do. And really, we wanted to add a little bit of, I guess, brightness to the fact that we have gone through all at once this radical shift in how we work, whether or not we're in, I know from understanding the representation here today, I believe your government off in schools. Can you, it's a
It
little
sounds
bit.
like you're buffering a bit.
Can you go off video for just a moment if I need to? That's a tip and a trick. Another one would be to hardwire while you're presenting, which I did not do. But anyway, so what we really wanted to do is talk about how these seismic shifts are happening, and what we can do together, find the common thread. I was going to give a little bit of background, but there was enough about me. Let's really focus in about what we're going to actually look at here. So I think part of the tips and tricks and some of the things I'm going to sprinkle in throughout the whole time we talk are just ways that I've learned to work effectively and things you may already know. So if you already know, feel free to use the thumbs up reaction, or you can also comment in. But we'll go through an agenda just briefly. Usually this is probably about an hour's presentation, so I've consolidated it down a bit. You got the introductions, tips and tricks, really, how to set up your home office and working from home, all of those different areas that we found really people have universal concerns about, regardless of the area of business that you're in or what it is you are trying to achieve working from home. And that will also go into conducting effective online meetings. Obviously having an agenda, time boxing it, and then being able to start on time and end on time, which is something that I see is a theme throughout the way you run your meetings, right? Okay, so let's take a look at this right now, right? What are your work from home challenges? I'd like for you to think about this question as we go through this together, because we're all kind of on this journey together. Would you agree that some of this is just, we know a lot, but some of it's uncharted? And, some of these questions that you may have thought are, how do I disconnect? How do I disconnect? My home is now my work is my home, and really working too much. Too many distractions. I put my picture up because at the very time I'm supposed to present, my dog decided to come into the office and want to play, or I might call it that chasing the shiny objects syndrome. I know I need to go do the laundry, or, the kids, or all of these different things. So how do I manage distractions? Because they're real. What about just that being able to socialize with your colleagues, my colleagues, or just socialize, period. And actually, I have a slightly different frame of reference, having worked 100% remote for the last 7 years. Tools and technology. What happens when you're in the middle of a presentation and you see the internet connection is unstable, right? What about headphones? What about your chair? You know, what other things can you think of that are going through your mind? And hopefully we'll cover off on some of them, but whatever it is you're thinking of, and I'm seeing the head nods, I can't see the whole gallery right now, but my guess is all of us are feeling some of these in one degree or another. So we're not alone. And whether or not you've had to move from your brick and mortar office to your home, now you have to teach your students online. Now you have to homeschool your kids. We're experiencing them. So what I wanted to do today is really focus on the common threads that give us kind of these universal tips and tricks. Now, there may be some questions that are coming into the chat. Kathleen or Andrew, let me know and I can go ahead and address them, or we can decide to hold them till the end.
We'll hold the questions to the end.
Okay, so home office and school shift happens. I'm going to talk about creating your space. Space means a whole bunch of different things. It can be your physical space. It can be your mind, body, and spirit space. It can be just what do you need to be able to be productive space, and being able to look at it holistically. So what I'm going to focus in on really, and you may already know this, but I think these could be very good reminders for us if you don't already think about them intuitively. And it's going to be 4 key areas in terms of your space. What does your space look like? Setting a schedule, setting ground rules, picking a dedicated site and equipment, and internet access. So let's talk about setting a schedule. I don't know about you, but I think some of the things about being able to work from home is that when we walked into the office, right, wherever it was, you had a physical separation between I leave my home, I get in a car, or however your mode of transportation is, I walk into a physical place, I have a physical place to sit, and I get up, I take my coffee, but whatever, but you have a schedule. It's not the same when you're a single or multi-parent family with kids in the house and pets, and it's just really hard to be productive in those types of scenarios. So one of the things, and I know it sounds really simplistic, but it's really about setting a schedule and communicating it. So one of the things we've written about is you set up a schedule like you do your calendar, and you communicate it to your whole family unit, and you make time. For me, it was really hard because I started my meetings, honest to goodness, I start my meetings at 4 in the morning because of my teams being in Japan and Malaysia and India. And so I roll out of bed at 3:45 and I get online at 4. So what's my schedule look like? My schedule looks like I roll out of bed, I grab my coffee, I'm in my jammies, I get online and I do my meetings until I can take my break. One size doesn't fit all, and I do not advocate getting up at 3:45 in the morning, especially if you put the camera on accidentally. Let me tell you, when that happens, I've frightened quite a few people. But I write out a schedule and I communicate it with my husband, my coworkers, and we're able to manage through these things that otherwise could be distractions. Do you experience this? Maybe you can raise your hand if you set a schedule. Setting that schedule, and I'm going to talk about that a little bit later in more depth, but that includes being able to give yourselves breaks. Give ourselves breaks, giving ourselves time to stand up, giving ourselves time to go get lunch and not sit in front of the computer. I listened to Janice Baker a couple of weeks ago, from a couple weeks ago. She talked about even nutrition and nutrition health, right? Our tendency is to keep doing everything in front of the computer. So if you have children or you're caring for other members of the family, having that schedule, being able to manage through it, you're sharing the responsibilities in a shared household. If you're not sharing the responsibilities, you're taking the time to share and communicate with your dog. At this time, I'm going to take you for a walk. Sometimes that's not as easy. For the setting the ground rules for the people in your space. What about the kids? What about your kids who absolutely, positively need to have an answer to a question on their homework, or they're, getting distracted and they need some help? We found that being able to set that schedule as a family, and I'll look forward to hearing some of your stories as well, has been really, really helpful. The kids know when we want to take a break with them. They know when we're going to sit down as a family unit. I have grown kids, so my kid right now is my 1-year-old 6-pound dog, but it really does make a difference when we can communicate that. These ground rules are super important in the schedule, just so much in our personal space as it is with our coworkers and our teammates and the people who work for us. One of the things that you probably see that I know 100% is communication is key. And I'll talk more about that, but being able to articulate when your hours are, right? This is one way to disconnect too. I'm available from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. or 4 p.m. For me, it was 4 a.m. to noon, and then I would do my other work, right? I can have meetings from these times to these times. If you need to reach me, you can do it. But when it comes time for me to shut down and be with my family, that's what I do. It's a lot easier said than done. And similarly, this is what we use in order to build that relationship of trust with our coworkers and people who work for us. A lot of what we thought in the research was the pattern was that we don't trust that people are doing what they're doing when they say they're going to do it, really has turned into people are working more hours and not disconnecting. And I've had to work with my teams to help prevent burnout. So when we set these schedules and these communications, then, just like your family, your team, you won't feel as a supervisor like your team is not working if you try to call them at a specific time and they don't answer, because you knew that, right, you've got these core hours. I feel like asking if there's any questions. Even if you're an educator, you have office hours and you can set those up. And there's ways that you can do it using online tools. There's calendar tools that I've used very successfully. Calendly, I don't necessarily advocate one tool over another, but there's some that you can use where you can actually schedule your meetings and have it available to people that can go ahead and schedule time, and they'll know you're available when you said you were available. Picking a dedicated site in which to work. Now, for some people, that may not be as easy as others. For some people we know are even sharing laptops with their kids, because now we're in school, the kids are in school. But anything that you can do to go ahead and have your own space, even if it's a table in a room that shows that this is your space. Or I've seen situations where some of my customers have had to share the dining room with other house members, and they put up a curtain or some sort of wall to be able to have that sense of, this is where I am. When I walk in here, when I sit down here, it is actually my spot, and I can disconnect from the rest of the house, wherever that is, whatever that looks like. I actually call mine the bat cave, because there were days where I would come in here and I would not emerge for hours because of meetings. But I am lucky. I do have an office where I can close the door. If you can do that, that's another signal back to your home office members that that team that you're actually working or on calls. I know some of this may sound like you already know it, but it's always good to kind of reinforce this and have this as a reminder, because it's easy to forget when things get super busy. We'll talk about equipment and internet access a little bit later, because I think some of these, a lot of us having been through this situation now for, what is it, 5 months, which seems like dog years, right? We're getting used to some of the access and how we use these tools. I want to come back to this in terms of collaboration and communication if we have time. But I think for me, the biggest area that is that I want to talk through in the time that we have has to do with taking good care of yourself. All of these things that I'm talking about really come back to finding balance and being able to take something that may feel ill-structured and put some sort of feel like we've got some sort of control, can I say, over what's happening to something that seems and can seem really out of control. And in order to really set that schedule, I found, and through all of the research that I've read, it's maintaining regular work hours. What do those look like? So a lot of this is not going to be a one size fits all, and not everybody works 8 to 5 or 9, whatever your hours are, but maintaining those core hours if you're a teacher, right? Maintaining core hours if you have meetings with your associates or with customers, or you have to keep the store, find some virtual way to keep the store front open. What I've done is I've created a morning routine, which wasn't easy. I told you, sometimes I roll out of bed in my jammies and I have my coffee. That is my morning routine. Some people have to do their emails first. Some people need to go out and exercise. Whatever that is, do find that and get your routine, because that's really what helps us feel very much like we're not getting distracted, right? Schedule in breaks. Schedule in the time to go out, right? Changing your clothes to take a break, right? I am probably not one to talk, but there are days when I'm happy with that. I got the shower by noon. I don't know if anybody else feels that way. And washing my hair and putting on makeup, that's a great one, right? So sometimes for me, really that break is changing into clothes where I can have a presentation in front of you, right? And feel like that's taking me to a different spot in my ability to work. And also, I don't know about you, sometimes for me, I tend to let the work schedule overtake the need for me to get out and go walk or garden or get out of the house. And that comes into these scheduling the breaks and taking them in their entirety. Part of disconnecting, part of making sure that we recharge. I know these all sound really simple, but doing them is really the challenge. Getting out of the house, I call it getting out of the compound. I don't know about you, but I can look up sometimes and realize that between all the things and my responsibilities in the house, it's like the end of the day and I haven't gone outside. So even for me, checking the mail, taking my dog for a walk, these are things that I actually have learned to incorporate, and it works. Socializing with our colleagues. How many of you missed it so much, right? We were able, yeah, right? If you like people, but really socialize. The way you're conducting the meeting is really amazing, because you can see one another. You can actually see faces and expressions, and how do we do that? We can try to emulate that. So I've seen really successful results with people doing you know, the virtual happy hours. I think somebody wanted to talk about how we take care of ourselves, maybe having a virtual relax, how you relax, maybe it is a beer. Socializing with your colleagues, there's ways you can do this. I would set up kind of a virtual water cooler with my team. You know, we meet, we have a cup of coffee or a water during the business hours, and we just kind of try to do the best we can to emulate that what we would talk about if we were just hanging out in the kitchen in the communal kitchen and grabbing that cup of tea. And you find out a lot of good stuff about what people are thinking, about how people are, you know, what they're doing, and learning about your teams. Virtual book clubs, right? There's a lot of different interests. So there's things that that you've done with your colleagues before. There's ways that you can establish it and do it virtually. It's not, you know, I'm not going to pretend like it's being there, but it can at least give you that interaction. While we're still in this type of stay-at-home type of situation. The final thing that I'm really going to talk about in terms of taking good care of yourself, it has to do with really a lot of this is taking good care of ourselves, but how we are using our meeting times, right? Showing up to meetings. And again, I want to commend you for starting and stopping on time. I'm doing a time check here too. But a lot of things that have to happen is when we have this type of situation, feeling like we're heard. I don't know if you ever show up to the meetings and maybe, you know, multitasking because they have a deadline, or, you know, you're going to listen, but maybe you want to say something. If you feel that way, then by all means, people that are on your teams are probably feeling the same way. So being able to elicit the maybe the quieter people during your meetings, making sure you're doing the same thing, even if it's uncomfortable, is really an important way as a tip and a trick for taking good care of yourself, but taking good care of the people that are on your teams as well. You will find that there will be people, I don't know if you've seen this in meetings, that they wait for other people to speak. So it seems like maybe they don't have anything to say. So what I do is I go around the virtual room and I make sure that because people want to be heard, they want to feel like we're taking care of them as well. I mentioned about over communicating. That's part of the over communicating, making sure that you can never in this situation be asking too many questions, clarifying what people are saying, following up in emails or chats, making sure that email isn't the only way that you feel like you've gotten your point across. So all of these areas really are about how we as individuals can take good care of ourselves and ultimately then really take good care of those of us that we're working with, we're helping out, we're working for. Now, I'm not going to spend, you know, I can take some time. You can see my headphones. I've chosen talking through the equipment and internet access, the must versus nice to have. I think that if you have questions, we can talk that through. I choose to use my Logitech headphones. They're not, you know, they're wireless. They're not earbuds, but I feel like for me, this is the best way that you can hear me. And I've gotten the best noise canceling. So when you're presenting, it's important that you have noise canceling audio. It's making sure that you've got a camera and the proper internet access, particularly if you're presenting. You're going to need a minimum, I believe, and Andrew, you can keep me honest here too, it's 800 megabits per second to be able to effectively stream something like a Zoom meeting. And again, I don't necessarily advocate which technology you use. There's a lot of technologies out here like Zoom. For some government, you need to use something like WebEx, Google Meet, Microsoft Teams. There's a whole bunch of different ways you can do this communicating, but these types of technologies really do require some of the high speed. If you do have spotty internet, you can connect hardwire. Recording video and lighting. We're recording right now, so you know that. The lighting, I'm going to just kind of give you a picture. Yes. So really thinking about when you set up your office and when you're presenting, this sort of, Kathleen and I were kind of talking about that. That's kind of like when we're telling ghost stories around the campfire. But this is really, you see this sometimes with people when their lighting is below the face, right? Okay, this is a little bit backlit. Better, it's to the side, and the best is where the light is coming from the front and it's a little bit below. So I actually am now situated in front of a window, and I have actually a small LED light. So that's office tips. And then if we have time, I can give you my office makeover, but in the interest of time, looks like we're getting to the top of the hour, Andy. What I wanted to do here now is just kind of summarize and say that really the purpose for me today was to come to you and really focus on those tips and tricks for creating your space that can help you feel like you're achieving some balance in your home and your work life that will enable you to be able to feel like you've got the energy and the ability to focus on the work you need to get done and on the teams that you work with, you work for, or the students you teach. On that note, most of all, and I can see this is a crew that does this, is to keep a good sense of humor, particularly if your camera comes on at 6 in the morning and you're still in your periwinkle and white polka dotted pajamas. We can all have a good laugh because this is really definitely one of those equalizing factors. On that note, I wanted to thank you all again so much for the opportunity. And if you want to know more about specifics about how we can talk more in depth, this is just a high-level overview. We're happy to answer questions. You can see our website and it has our email addresses, so please feel free to reach out.
So Deb, can you hang out for a few minutes after we close out the meeting to answer questions?
I'd be delighted.
Okay. So what I'm going to do real quick here is we actually did have one other announcement that I missed on my agenda, and I want to let Ron take a few moments. Since he was Rotarian of the Month, I guess we can do this for him.
Okay, and it will be quick. There's two. Thank you, Andy. One has to do with a reminder that starting next Tuesday, September 1, attendance is going to be live. So we'll start recording that for the purposes of perfect attendance for the year. And the makeup arrangements will be the same. A little tougher to find a meeting, but as far as recording it and whatnot, that's all going to be the same through DACDB. And if you can't find another Rotary meeting to attend, just work on a Rotary project, whether with the club or the district, or do something online, and we'll get you down the road to perfect attendance. The other thing is I'm really proud of our JP Catholic kids. You saw me show the shirt. They have them. They're going to use them to recruit for their memberships, and they're doing their first service project this week. And it has to do with kids moving out either for their graduation or moving out for the quarter. Our Rotaract students are going around and collecting unused but usable foodstuffs, clothing, and perhaps furniture, and getting it over to Interfaith and the St. Vincent de Paul. So good on them, and we expect nothing but good things from our Rotaract kids. Thank you, Andy.
My pleasure. My pleasure. And we'll talk some more about some other things offline for our board meeting. So real quick, I'm going to close out the meeting. Where's my hammer? There's my hammer. If I had a hammer, I'd hammer in the morning. So shower thoughts. You're technically in every TV show and movie filmed after you're born. You're just really far off camera. So we'll close the formal meeting. Destroy all your dog's ears. And leave this open. Deb, let me stop share here. Deb, Kathleen, anyone who wants to ask questions, we're open. And they're all running away.
Hey,
all right. So here's
this is Roy Henderson. Hey, Deborah.
Hi, Roy.
My name is Roy Henderson. I just said we got kind of a two-faceted question. This is company employees that have been sent home. And a lot of companies are saying sent home indefinitely. I have a friend who's engineering manager at a pharmaceutical filling company in San Diego, and they are losing employees because employees don't like working alone from home and occupies all the factors you just discussed. And they're having not massively, but they're having a few employees quit saying, I found a different job where I can go to the office. Also, the company's going to lose. I read that Google sent a lot of employees home and told them not to come back for a year. And now they're finding these Google employees are still working there, but they're tired of paying $2,500 a month for a small apartment in San Francisco Peninsula, and they're moving geographically. And when it comes time to call these employees back, they're going to say, sorry, I live in Lincoln, Nebraska now. So do you have any comments about that?
So the question, let me see if I understand the question. It is, what do we see as trends happening with those that either don't like working from home or are being asked to work from home indefinitely, and what the thoughts are on that?
Yes, and then companies will ultimately, they're going to lose employees doing that.
I think really this is a great question. And how does the transition back look, right? And will it ever look exactly the same again? And I think the 2 points that I'd like to talk through on this is, for some, it's going to be even more attractive, right? If I can work from anywhere, then I can move and I can be mobile, right? And I can be productive. For me, it's been a process over several years to get used to those feelings of isolation and those feelings of how do I maintain that kind of semblance of office. I think you'll see some of that. You'll see some people who will absolutely, when the offices open up again, want to go back. In fact, about our son, he is in the process. He was onboarded as a 100% remote worker, and has gone back to where his residence is. Their offices opened up again August 17th, and some people have gone back and they said, we don't like it. We don't like the way it looks right now. So there's going to be adjustments both ways, right? And I think what we need to be able to do as employers and employees is to be able to understand what the needs are going to be for these different work models. Do you have an experience in your mind, Roy, on how you want it, how you see it, envision it?
Well, I think being back in the office is definitely the way to go. One thing is the companies, I think, have been kind of talking out both sides of their mouth on this sending employees home. And for decades, employees were proud of the fact that they put reduced square footage per employee, eliminate closed door offices, put people, practically elbow to elbow, particularly software development companies. And they did all this in the name and said, well, we need collaboration. Collaboration was the mantra. And have employees by them close to each other. They've recited this over and over. Now, with this coronavirus, they did the opposite of that, sent them all home into a total solitary environment, not even a closed door office, it's a closed door residence, and say, well, we can do this indefinitely. So in my mind, there's a big inconsistency between what they've been saying for decades and what they're doing now.
Would you agree, those of you online? I'm sorry, I'll give it a second. I think the biggest thing that we see is the need to watch the shift happen. And I don't say it necessarily tongue in cheek. I think we're seeing a shift to the ability to be able to be productive wherever that is for some people, right? So I think clearly one size doesn't fit all, and that's one of the things that I think is really an important and a key takeaway for us through this conversation that I'm having with you today. It is being able to understand who we are personally and what it is that we need in order to be successful. And then being able to be given the tools. I think there was a comment, embracing the technology, being able to be given those tools to be successful, right? And part of that has to do with those basic things that we talked about today, being able to understand what our needs are in order to be able to be strong and understand what we want to do. I hope that made sense. Joe? I thought Joe. So I'm not sure if I answered your question.
Yeah, and Colleen commented on that. As a society, we've been slow to embrace technology changing the structure of our lives. But, and I mean, I've been working from home for 11 years now, since 2009. And, you know, one of the points that you brought up was absolutely early on my biggest challenge was stopping work, being able to stop and eat lunch instead of grabbing some food and sitting it in front of me and working while I did that. A lot of people, you know, how do you have the self-control to work? I said, who says I have self-control? But all I do is work. I didn't have the self-control to walk away from work. And so the people who are resistant, I think, to this work at home, these are the challenges, is getting your mind wrapped around the fact that you are going to work versus working from home. And you know, it's funny, and you have so much more background on this than I do, but one of my big routines is making sure I dress for work. Just because I'm stepping 10 steps from the bedroom to the office, I still dress for work instead of being in pajamas. That's my first routine for setting the day apart. And it took a couple of months, years to actually find that. So the resistance, I think, is that people don't have these mechanisms to separate out, this is my office space and that's the rest of the house.
I think it's a fantastic point, and that's why really setting a schedule, you're right, whatever that is. Like literally for me, you know, for many years, I just, it wasn't physically possible to wake up and get all that done. But when I do still set that structure, right? I still have to. And more people than not are saying that disconnect is really the hardest piece. We are tethered to technology. If it's not Zoom meetings, it's our iPhones, it's our, you know, and I think even Dr. Baker was even talking about this, being able to not eat in front of the computer. Like I'm in the background eating, you know? So things that we might not necessarily do if we're in a structured brick and mortar type of environment are things that we've kind of allowed ourselves to evolve to in this environment. And I have to remind myself all the time of these. So are you having similar experiences? What's the, what other questions or what observations come to mind?
Let's see, who do we have here that's actually not retired right now, except for Roy and me? Dr. Moyer, are you still out there talking and speaking, or are you just?
I don't doctor anymore.
Okay.
Put a fair amount of time in on the hospital board,
right,
which involves a lot of reading and document review and things like that. Yeah.
How has your routine shifted with this?
Well, It really varies from day to day. I mean, there are a couple of constants, 3 mornings a week, I have a physical fitness appointment at 8:30. The dogs get walked for an hour plus every morning. So those are priorities. And the other things kind of work around unless I've got a meeting. Same thing in the afternoon, late. Right now I'm swimming. Those are priorities almost every day. And then, so I don't have like I used to, okay, 8 o'clock, you're out the door to the hospital and then to the office at 9:30 and So.
But do you think that your experience it was a cardiac surgeon, correct?
A cardiologist, right.
Cardiologist. So the structure that you had in your life, do you think it has helped you cope with some of this? To set up the structures, to set your priorities, to
yeah, certainly, because you formed routines and you had discipline, just like you and our speaker, and kind of the biggest difference is that day to day, kind of you move the boxes around.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but still try and keep them on the schedule. And some days, I'm real cognizant of a lot of what I heard today. You got to take breaks, got to have priorities, and learning to say no. And I'm getting pretty good at saying no. No, that doesn't work. Well, can you be there for a 9 o'clock meeting? No.
That's my weakness, is saying no.
I think, yeah. I agree. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
It takes work, but the reality is once you start doing that, it becomes easier. Mm-hmm. And also other people tend, once you've said no a few times, or no, that doesn't work for me, or no, I'm not available, then get the message, and then the messaging kind of changes. Well, when would you be available? Mm-hmm. What would work for you?
Right.
Yeah.
And that even goes with the people in your home too.
Oh, right? Yes.
Right. I need, help me with this right now. Well, I'm on a call for, until another hour. Can it wait? And I've had to do the exact same thing, because I think we've gotten ourselves into this immediate instant. You get a text or a chat message, and we instantly want to respond. And actually, some of the studying I've been doing around this has with time management is really what we're talking about. Is we think we're really good multitaskers, but really what we're doing is we're actually reducing productivity, whatever that is.
Yeah.
Do we have any other questions?
Hey, Andrew, this is Roy again. I have one more question.
All right.
I know for companies that send their employees home to work from home, and as an independent business owner myself, I can deduct a part of my home costs from my tax return as a home office. Is there any talk of somehow compensating employees that are sent home? They're using more electricity, they're using space, which has value, compensating employees for actually working from home.
So is the question if employers are compensating the employees, or if there's some sort of legislation for breaks?
Either or. To do legislation, you have to have an act of God to get that legislation in place, and the employees are incurring the costs right now. So the best way, the immediate way, is to have the employer pay the employee extra for working from home. Are employers doing that?
I would need to tell you it depends. The company that I actually worked through as a consultant required that I have my own equipment, my own internet, my own all, and they did not reimburse me. They did not.
So you weren't a consultant, you weren't an employee then?
I was actually it was an interesting relationship. I was a full-time, if you will, salaried consultant, but working through this company, their business model was no, they did not compensate. What I am able to do though,
You paid on a W-2, you paid on a 1099.
W-2.
Okay, well then they should have paid you.
A lot of companies do. A lot of companies will. And each employee, as an employee, I encourage anyone who is working for a company to reach back to their HR department to find out exactly what the reimbursements are. But there is also an opportunity, even as a W-2, to, and I'm not a CPA, so I would just say check with your accountant, but there may be opportunities to have work-related business expenses if they are a certain amount. But that, I would say, do not take my advice as gospel on that. But that's been my experience.
Working from home, they're saving money on transportation, and they probably don't have to spend as much on clothing. So that offsets perhaps running the air conditioner a little longer, having lights on a little longer.
Yeah. You know, or investing in some equipment. Like I went ahead and, you know, I am on so many calls, I really decided to invest in a nice chair of all those things, right?
Yes.
So
The exercise ball works well for Zoom meetings.
right? However that looks, or if you have a sit or standing desk, that's a whole nother session in itself, right? Talking about those types of, so Andy, I guess you can attest to that. I've just sit here like, oh, I'm in heaven, you know, but it made all the difference.
The chair was the very best thing I could have. Everything else is nothing compared to the chair. But I'm gonna wrap things up. If anyone,
thank you so much. Thanks so much, Colleen.
Thank you so much, Deb and Kathleen. And we will be getting a copy of that song sent to you. It's framing. Believe it or not, we really do. And we'll get that to you. And thank you for your time, and thank you for the interesting program, Kathleen. Thank
Thanks for the opportunity.
And get back with you.
Thank you.
Hi.
I'll send it through to Andrew. Okay.
Well, you can call me Andy. That's fine. Or you
Okay, Andy.
Yeah.
That's what I'm used to. Thank you.
Barbie.
Bye, everybody. Thank you. It's a pleasure. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Take care, guys. See you all next week. It looks like Bill, Colleen, and are all checked out. So, Roy, have a good one. Talk to you soon.
Okay, Andrew. Hey, thanks for running these meetings.
My pleasure.